Hello guys, Kedu my people, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be going over a story time. I'm actually excited. I love story times. So the story time is going to be over how I got dismissed from the Army Promotion Board and why. So if you want to find out, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome back, guys. So as I said earlier on, this is going to be a story time, a chill session of how I got dismissed and why I got dismissed from the promotion board. So first of all, you know, if you're going to the promotion board, you're already having like a stressful time of your life. Everything is like ×2 stressful. You have so many checklists to make. You have like your packet, you have the main knowledge, you have every part of it. It's just overwhelming. And yes, it can be overwhelming. So on the morning of the promotion board, you know, I got to the promotion board. I was nervous, as normal as anyone else would be. I had everything that I needed. And when I got there, as you can tell, you know, my name is Adebayo. So alphabetically, I'm going to be one of the first set of people to go into the promotion board. And actually, I was the first. So they they called me in. They called me into the board. And you know how you go. I don't know how it is for other places, but technically, the way you go into the promotion board, your sponsor goes in and tells the president and the member of the board about you. A little bit about you, something to sell you even before you get in there, something to make them interested in you as a person and as a upcoming leader. So my sponsor went in there and then it was time for me to come in. As soon as I came in, I was so nervous. I was standing like this. Like legit, I could not keep my hand straight for the life of me. Like when I was standing, my hand was like arched. And that happens to me when I'm actually nervous. So I feel like the first time I wasn't checking myself. So I went in there like that, looking like that. And I think one of the first sergeants actually made a comment and he was like, well, Specialist Adebayo, you look like you want to beat me up. Like, because, you know, I would look like I was squaring up. And so I was like, negative first sergeant. And then it gave me phasing movement. At this point, they were looking at my uniform. And this was when I knew stuff was about to go down because I started getting like backlashes over my uniform. And I was so confused because I thought my uniform was Gucci. Now, listen, I thought my uniform was on point, as a matter of fact, you know. And so when I started receiving like backlashes about my uniform, I was hearing like, you know, right face, 5 step forward, notch. I was trying to keep up and everyone was looking at my uniform. And I got a comment about my hair because at the time I had braids in. And this is one thing for females to take note of when you're going to the board. Make sure that your braids, the bun is in regulation. And what is regulation? So basically the width of the bun cannot be wider than the width of your face. So meaning if you're standing at the position of attention, they should not be able to see your bun like this if you have a bun, right? So that was the first thing I got backlash on, because although my bun was within the width of my head, depending on how you turn, they can still kind of see it. So that made it a little bit tricky. At this point, I was nervous. I was just like, oh my goodness, what is going on? What is going on? Like deep down, I was like, I was a wreck. But then they asked me for my ID card. They asked me for my identification card, and boom, it occurred to me, I had forgotten my ID card. Like my dog tags, my ID card itself, I forgot everything in my bag. It was like right outside the hall, like the promotion board hall. But like, they were like, Specialist Adebayo, you know, where's your ID card and your dog tags? And then I was like, I forgot it's Sergeant Major. It's not on me. And they were like, where should it be? And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, it should be on my belonging. That was how I knew. I was like, yeah, this is not going well. And then they started getting on me for my uniform. I feel like that was a very terrible time of my life. Honestly, I was so scared. I was so nervous. Like I was having 1,000 feelings, you know, at the same time. And I was not scared because I didn't know I didn't have the knowledge of going to the promotion board, like, the questions. That was not what's making me scared, but just the fact that I didn't even sit down yet and they were already smoking the hell out of me. I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? And then at that point, the sergeant major had said, Special Adebayo, the NCO's creed. So I stood up and I started, creed of a non-commissioned officer. No one is more professional than I. I was doing blah, 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 blah. Killed it. They even confirmed that I killed it. But then they dismissed me from the promotion board. I was in shock because they dismissed me because of my uniform. And bear in mind that before I went to the promotion board, I had someone look over my uniform. My sponsor already looked over it and stuff. So now this brings me to the lesson you can learn from my experience. A lot of time when we go to the board and when we check our uniforms and stuff, we do not really have the amount of help that we should need. What do I mean by that? You don't have up to 2 or 3 people double checking your uniforms and stuff like that. I was lucky because the person who actually double checked my uniform, my sponsor, she really she took her time. As a matter of fact, she looked at it, she was like, she was so on point with it. And after she finished, she had taken me to senior ranking and sorry first class to help her look over what she did. Now, why did she do that? That kind of held her accountable to make sure that it's not just one set of eyes. Because a lot of time, especially with the Army regulations, we feel like we have it on point, this is good. But when one person looks at it and there's no problem, the same uniform can be looked at by another person and a problem would emerge. This is why it's good to have more than one person, more than your sponsor, look over your uniform. And honestly, I am so glad that she took me to meet the sergeant first class to check my uniform. Because what happened after they had dismissed me from the promotion board was my sponsor had gone to meet the sergeant first class and they said her uniform was no good. And then they made me step back everything is good on this uniform. I was given another opportunity to go back to the board because my uniform was already checked by a higher ranking female. Bear with me, there was no female on the board. So because of that, the closest higher ranking female that they could have was the one who checked my uniform. So if you have someone like that within your company, this is a good idea to get your uniform checked out. And this is not because you don't know what you're doing. No, as a matter of fact, it shows how much confidence and how much knowledge you have. Because when you understand that, hey, just because I know the regulation, just because I know how to fix my uniform, does not always mean that my uniform will come out looking right to everybody. I guess for the male, this can be a little bit different because the males have the pockets and the way you can measure it. But for females, things can get a little bit complicated. So this is why you need to make sure that you have not just one person looking over your uniform, have a higher ranking look over the uniform after your sponsor has looked over the uniform. This will save you a lot, I promise you. So finally, after I got the chance to go back into the promotion hall, as soon as I went back in, I reported back and they were like, take a seat. And they just threw the questions at me and I just answered. And what did I do? So remember that as at the time when they had chased me away from the promotion board initially, I was already emotional. I even cried, because I wanted this promotion so bad. I cried, my eyes were red and everything. So I had to go out and take a minute for myself and make sure that my countenance is refreshed and comes back to normal. So when I went back in, I wasn't going back in the fact that I was angry that they had sent me out the first time. No, because as a matter of fact, they're there to criticize me in a good way. They're there to make sure if something is not right, they're there to call me out on it. That's their job. They're not there to pamper me. And I feel like that is where a lot of us get we get all up in our feelings when we go to the promotion board, where we feel oh, this person sent me out. Yes, I was mad. I was very upset. But the way everything turned out, I was just when I went back in, I was you know what? This is their job. It's not personal. They actually did their job. Their job is to look at me and tell me what is wrong in my attire, in my countenance, with my knowledge, and their job is to test me. So me going in there, I was not expected to be pampered. So when I had the opportunity to go back in there, I went back just the same way I went in there the first time. I was composed. I was not angry. I didn't look mad. No, like those are things that we have to put aside, because at the end of the day, this is a job. It's just like a job interview. If you go for an interview and they say, no, we don't want you, what are you going to do? Kill yourself? No, we're not going to kill ourselves. But no, guys, I really did get dismissed from the board. I feel like this board would have been just like every normal one for me. But for the fact that it was my very first board and then I got dismissed. And when I went back in the same day, like I had to wait for everybody to go. So literally I was standing for about 6 to 7 hours. My leg was hurting. I was in pains. At this point in time, I was not even nervous anymore. I was just tired. I was like, you know what? Let's get this over with, because your girl wanted to take off that uniform. I was looking sharp though. I was looking sharp. And going back in the second time, I already understood the things that made me look unpresentable the first time. I had my cat this time, I had like all that. And the way I was arching my arm, like the arching, I wasn't doing that anymore. I had to So it all worked out for the best, because I went back in there and I killed it. Yes, I went back in there and I killed it. So I feel like all in all, it was a crazy experience for sure. I did not expect it to go like that, but I'm thankful that it went that way, because now if I have any soldier that is going to the board, I can openly just tell them like, yo, your appearance matters a lot. Like your uniform needs to be crisp, because once your uniform is crisp, look, going to the board, most of the time we already know what we're going to say. We know the answers to this question, and even the questions we don't know the answers to, we know the regulations for them, right? But if you do not have a chance to sit down to even like prove your knowledge, no one would ever know. They'll just send you right out of the board. And that almost happened to me. As a matter of fact, that happened to me. So that's what I'm here to tell you. But if this has happened to you, one, do not take it personal. I promise you, it is not personal. I had to learn this myself, because over time, like when I was preparing for the board, I was thinking like, why are they acting like they don't want you to succeed? Why are they acting all this, all this kind of, like, you tend to take it a little personal, because for you, it's personal. Like for you, you want it so bad, you want that promotion. So you're wondering like, why they're making it hard for you. But think about it this way. They're about to hand you a leadership role in the army. They know that they'll be having new soldiers coming. You're going to be like a leader to those soldiers. You're going to be a mentor. That is why they're giving us a hard time. It is called a test for a reason. It's just not going to be handed to us. And I had to learn that. I had to remind myself of that and understand that, hey, they're not looking for me to fail. And honestly, even the first sergeant that was telling me, like when I was in the board, that was telling me, especially about at the bio, do you want to fight and stuff like that? Like, why do I look squared up? I saw him later, like he even recommended me for a singing position somewhere else, because I do sing the national anthem from time to time. But yeah, I digress. He still recommended me for a position to sing national anthem. What does that mean? Like in there, they are playing a role, and that role is to shaping you, make sure that you have what it takes to go on to the next step, to go on to the next phase in leading soldiers. So that is why it's been that hard. But yo, I'm telling you, I was mad. I was upset. I'm not even gonna lie. I was really upset. And but I was really happy when I went back the second time and they asked me all the wonderful questions. Like it made me feel confident in myself for the fact that I actually had the knowledge, and I was answering. And the ones I didn't quite know, I told them I didn't know, but I can always check back with this. I had my resources straight. So, and at the end of it, one of the feedbacks I got was about my composure and how I came back just the way I left, and I wasn't looking out of it or anything like that. But yes, guys, so that brings me to the end of my story time, which is more like a lecture. I don't know why I said story time and then I end up giving the whole lecture. Bro, maybe I should just go be a teacher. I think I have a calling. I think I have a gift. I have a gift. I think I do have a gift. So you guys tell me, do you think I have a gift for teaching? Do you think I have a gift for story time, or should I just stick to interviews? Because at this point, I'm beginning to wonder where do I fit in? But yeah, Thank you so much for staying with me if you watched up to this period. And I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy the video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. I always love comments, so leave them down below. And subscribe if you're not one of the family yet. Very soon we're gonna be getting a name, but I'm excited. I'm excited. But hey guys, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you guys. Have fun. Be awesome.